Hello my friends, we're on to part 13 of System Shock 2 now. A lot of people, actually it's like 3 people, but a lot of people have asked what's so great about hacking and are wondering if they're missing the point of it. And I'm just going to spend this entire episode talking about hacking and the role-playing elements. Now, first off, I have to really define what I think a role-playing game is. If you look at most role-playing games, the only real choice you're given is in how you kill your enemies. You can kill them with a sword, or a bow, or a spell, but all you're doing is choosing how you kill your enemies. The rest of the game is pretty much exactly the same no matter what. Now, my idea of the definition of role-playing is the choice to be able to play a game in different ways based on different skills. And that's why I rate games like Fallout and Bloodlines and Arcanum and System Shock 2, and even though I don't like it, Deus Ex, so highly, because those games, they don't just let you decide how you kill your enemies, they let you decide how you play the game. You can play it in radically different ways, and it's not quite as apparent in System Shock 2 as it is in, say, Fallout, but it's still very apparent. Now, hacking in and of itself is simply lining up lights. It's nothing special. You just click boxes until until you have 3 boxes lit up, and then the item is hacked. But what makes it special, or what I think makes it awesome, is the choices you have to make and the choices it allows you to make. Now, if you don't have hack in this game, you're not going to be able to get into containers that have items, and those items are going to affect your ability to play the game. You're not going to be able to hack gun turrets and bring them onto your side, which means not only are you not going to be able to use them to kill enemies, you're also going to have to kill the sentries. And similarly, you can't disable cameras, you're going to have to destroy them all. Now, for someone who doesn't have those skills, the entire game is going to be very different. But they're going to dedicate their points to other aspects of the game, so they may focus on strength, which lets them carry more items, and with increased strength they'd also do increased melee damage, making them more effective at killing. Or perhaps they'd focus on weapons skills, which would allow them to do more damage with their weapons and perhaps to use a broader range of weaponry. Or you may go for psionic abilities, which will give you the ability to teleport and turn invisible, giving you radically different ways to play the game. And there aren't really games like that out there. Not many. I mean, Fallout does it, of course. You can play the game in many different ways. Arcanum certainly does it. Deus Ex, absolutely, more than System Shock 2, Deus Ex does it. Bloodlines, of course, and to the best of my knowledge, that's really it. I mean, the D&D games, there may be a little nuance that I'm not familiar with because I kind of hate them, but D&D games don't give you that kind of freedom. And I mean, if you go back to pen and paper role-playing, there are loads of stats and numbers and levels and everything, but it all begins with a choice. You make a choice and then you roll your dice. That's what these games are. They're about choices and diversity, and the player driving the experience, and having more skills and broader ways of playing the game is, that to me is what role-playing is all about. And modern role-playing games, they don't really have that, you know. I mean, I thought that Alpha Protocol may have been quite impressive with its gun tree and its melee tree and its stealth tree. I haven't played the game yet, but having a stealth tree is quite interesting, in that it allows you to play the entire game in a different way. Rather than simply killing your enemies, you're evading them. Now, I'm not really familiar with that game or how it works, so I don't know if it's balanced or if it works properly or anything like that. And then of course there are games like Oblivion, and although that game will allow you to play the game in different ways, the way the skill system works means that you can do absolutely everything with a single character. What makes, you know, games like Fallout and System Shock 2 cool is that making one choice will preclude the alternative or alternatives. By choosing one thing, you have to forego something else, and that's something that Oblivion doesn't have at all. You can become a sword-wielding, heavy armor-wearing, offensive and defensive spellcasting, unstoppable battle tank, which to me defeats the entire purpose of role-playing. And as I said in another episode of this playthrough, you can't really get an idea of the depth of the game and the complexity just by watching a single playthrough, because you're seeing the way I'm playing it, but what you're not seeing is all the ways I'm not playing it, based on all the different skills that are available. So I would encourage people who are playing it to play it through multiple times. Sorry, people who are playing it for the first time after seeing this, to play it through multiple times and enjoy all the different styles of play. And again, with a game like Bioshock, because of the gene banks, I believe they're called, you don't have to make choices. You know, everybody has access to all the same skills. And there is a little nuance there, but the game in so many ways completely undermines itself and its choices that it just doesn't really register. So that's really why I think hacking is impressive. I mean, by itself, it is just clicking and lining up nodes to get 3 in a row. But I have to invest my skills, my skill points in hacking, and to a lesser extent cybernetic affinity, to be able to hack these things in the first place, which gives me access to these resources that other players who have different builds won't have access to. But by focusing on hacking skills, I am foregoing skills that will give me a greater efficiency in how I fight. So a soldier build would have fewer resources, but he would use those resources far more effectively, while other builds, you know, there are just many different ways of playing the game. And now, granted, System Shock 2 does not have the sheer depth of Deus Ex, as much as I don't like that game. Deus Ex it facilitates far more diverse playstyles. But yeah, I would definitely put Shock 2 amongst games like Fallout and Fallout 2 and Arcanum and Bloodlines. Anyone who hasn't played Bloodlines as well should really definitely play that game. But yeah, I mean, that's just my that is just my definition of role playing. I mean, to some people, role playing is just leveling up and having an inventory and having stats and to other people it's guiding the story, like Hot Lesbian Assassin considers Mass Effect 2 to be more of a role-playing game than Fallout, because I mean there is no real definition of what role-playing actually is, really, at least as it applies to computer games. I mean, to other people, fucking giant swords and young boys with tails and antagonists with white hair is role-playing. So everyone really has their own thing. But I think role-playing, true role-playing, is rooted in choice. And that's most apparent when you're playing pen and paper role-playing games. You know, it's all choices. You make your choices, you roll your dice, and then your stats determine what happens. And that's the main reason I don't like Dungeons and Dragons RPGs, because that entire aspect of player choice is barely present, if it's present at all. You know, no matter your class, you're just doing the same crap in slightly different ways. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's still a few minutes left on this video. I guess I'll talk about what I'm actually doing now. So yeah, I still have 2 vials of Toxin A to get into the environmental regulators. That was the 3rd one, so there's 1 left now. I've really kind of fucked up doing this. I've been a little distracted talking, and you know, talking and thinking at the same time is really fucking hard. So I'm pretty low on health hypos now. My build is based around hacking and the submachine gun, assault rifle, or whatever it is. I don't really know anything about guns. It's a very central weapon for me, but I can't use it yet. I have to wait until I have higher skill. And there is another one on deck 4 that I can get access to. But I really rather want to take this one with me. So I'm tempted to set up a storeroom now where I can dump items, because I'm pretty much at my limit for inventory space. I'm starting to drop things. I could do with investing in another strength point, really. But right now I want to get to standard weapons 6. It's 5 or 6, I don't remember, as quickly as I can, so I can use the assault rifle or submachine gun or whatever it is. I haven't listened to any logs, by the way, because I've been talking about role-playing and such. I'll get to it in the next episode. Right now I'm going to head back to MedSci to research. If it is MedSci, I think GA, yeah, there it is. I'm going to go back to MedSci to research this egg organ, and while I'm there I can also buy some much needed health hypos as well. Okay, I guess that's the end of the episode.